of Louis Westro. Off the ramp goes Bradley Wiggins. And into a rhythm in that big gear pretty early on. Wiggins has controlled the race with Team Sky very, very well indeed over the last week, but it isn't over till it's over. I've got to say, Sean, he does look good though, doesn't he?
Yes.
He's in good shape.
Well, he's looked in good shape all week. You know, I think he's been in the best shape we have seen him, looking very confident in the stages, in all sorts of terrains. You know, we had this the first road stage on the Monday where there was a lot of wind, and he looked to be very, very comfortable in that 20 plus riders, and all during the week he's been, you know, real comfortable. But again, we did see on, you know, in Mond the Monte Jalabert where Westra went in the attack, and I think everybody was pretty much on the limit, because we see the photographs where, you know, Leipam was looking across and Westra went in attack and nobody reacted, and that tells me that everybody was on the limit there, and that's what it's all about here, you know, just to keep it on the limit, and how much you can push your limit on the cold days here over this 9.6 kilometres.
What changes can you make to a bike these days, Sean? Bearing in mind you have a minimum weight limit of 6.8 kilos, what changes can you make to make your bike that bit, give you that little bit extra edge?
Well, weight wise there's not a lot you can do, and nowadays, because the bikes are pretty close to the minimum weight anyway, the UCI regulation, the chain rings, as we talked about, that's where you can, you know, make a change and go for a 44 inside ring and a 51, 52 outside, where the difference when you go from the big ring to the small ring, or the small ring to the big ring, there's not a great change in your rhythm, and that's very important as well, because when you're giving it 100%, and you know that big change of rhythm from the big chain to the small one, you have to start turning the gear quite a bit quicker. It can affect the legs, so every little thing counts so much here. And normally when you look at the time trial on cold days, between the top guys in the general classification, it has been very close on a lot of times, where there's only maybe 2-3 seconds between the top 2-3 guys in general classification. And certainly in my time, I remember when I was battling with Stephen Roach, a lot of the times there was only just a handful of seconds between us, and less than that, maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds to the difference of winning and losing the stage here.
Special time trial bike for Brad in black road bike today. Maybe they've lightened it, maybe they've changed things in different ways. Angel Vicchioso comes over 16th fastest. They may well have laid up a bike that's stiffer in one way than another. What about wheels, Sean? Here, what would your choice be in modern wheels?
Well, I think you have to, you know, go for, of course, the lighter the wheels, the better. But again, the road wheels that they use at this moment, that is the problem. They are very light already, because the bikes have improved so much in the last years, where with the carbon fibre rims and all that, are so rigid, they can be really lightweight. The tyre selection as well, you know, you go for a very lightweight tyre. And that's about it, really. You know, we can see here Wiggins, the bars, you have the extension of the handlebars. That's something is the change from my time. We didn't have that, and you know, I'm not sure if it serves a lot, because here, you know, the aerodynamics, you're not really going that fast on the climb. Where if you're on the hood seat, you can get in on the saddle much more. And I found certainly that I had to keep in and out of the saddle all the time to keep it really going, keep getting 100% out of myself. But today there's a lot of the riders here that just sit in the saddle, and that's the way maybe they're doing it, because of the extension on the handlebars. You just do that, you get into that position, you stay in that time trial position more.
This is TJ Van Garderen. Got his time trial helmet on, but again, standard road bike with extensions for him. The first intermediate checkpoint at 5.6 kilometers. Jean-Christophe Perrault was the fastest, ahead of Jérôme Coppel at 3 seconds. Then Damiano Cunevel, Montcoutier, Clauden, Uran, Javier Moreno and Maxime Bouet, Navarro and Ernst Capecchi line out those. This is Van Garderen, has a very fine Paris-Nice, Sean. He's coming on bit by bit each year. He's not making great huge strides, but he's got to a level now where he's making significant strides, but they're all nicely ramped. There's nothing unusual about them.
No, well, TJ, excuse me, TJ Van Garden is, a rider who's coming up in the last couple of years, and we've seen him. He's a great stage race rider. Interesting now today because he's had a good race all week, and at 39 seconds, the general classification in 5th position. What sort of performance will he put in here? I think he could put in a good performance, and when you look at the general classification, they're certainly in with a shout at the podium position, because Valverde up there at 18 seconds. Spilak as well. They could, move up if they really put in a good time trial. TJ Van Garden, which he's capable of doing, and he's going to be, giving it everything. And it's also really important for those guys that you get a test against the big names at the end of a week-long stage race. That's all important for later on in the season.
Wiggins on the right-hand screen, Westry on the left-hand screen. The one problem that Wiggins has had in the past was on the time trial bike, was using those asymmetric elliptical rings when he tried to get into the small chain. We could drop the chain off, but that seems to have been covered at the moment. No problems for Wiggins. Wiggins much more of a time trial position than Westra. Westra just rocking and rolling the shoulders a bit, but that is the way he is. Here is Chavanel. He's been a real contender here in Paris-Nice in the past, and today is just outside the top 10 so far in terms of time. Having good first half of the tour. Well, in fact, Omega Pharma Quickstep will have to be quite disappointed with their Paris-Nice, because Tony Martin was not in shape at all when he arrived. Sylvain Chavanel not having the best of days up at Mende, and Levi Leipheimer crashing yesterday, Sean, tumbling out of the top 3. So all in all, it's not been a great Paris-Nice for Omega Pharma.
No, and it started out very good. The first road stage, of course, with Tom Bonan winning. Yes. And they having the main men up there, except for Tony Martin, who lost out on that first road stage as well. He wasn't in that 21-man group. But I don't think he was in the form anyway to be really able to contest this Paris-Nice as we went on through the race. So it started off very well with Levi Leipheimer up there in a really good position. I think Chavanel's, maybe he was a little bit limited in what he could do. I think he was maybe staying with Levi Leipheimer, but unfortunately yesterday it all went wrong, and they lost out, and it's turning out a big disappointment for them yesterday, because it was going so well for Levi Leipheimer, and he's done that in the past in a lot of races where he just followed the race, wait for the final time trial, put in a real strong time trial. But unfortunately today, he was totally out with his 3 crashes yesterday, which we see 2 of, but there was also another one, so it was just a disastrous day for Leipheimer and also for Quickstep Omega.
Just saw that Simon Spilak there has gone second fastest at the 5.6 intermediate checkpoints. Typically aggressive finish by Arnaud Genesson. 8th fastest so far, 34.6 seconds down, one eye closed, one eye open. There he goes, driving for the line. Spilak had 1 second down on Perrault at the first intermediate checkpoint. Here we are in the section about 3.5 kilometers in, 4 kilometers in for Bradley Wiggins. This is the flatter section on the road where he can really use that big gear now. Back to Spilak. Somebody asked what the point of those asymmetric rings are. It's because it throws you over the top of the dead spot, so-called dead spot, when you're pedaling, which is essentially just over the top of the pedal stroke when you get to the horizontal, to the vertical, before you start putting power back on again. Some people say it generates a fair percentage more power having that. It's been tried before, of course, but asymmetric seems to be pretty popular, as do Rota, who do a similar type of thing. Spilak, he's going well, Sean. He's not the tidiest of riders, but on this sort of course, it's difficult to be tidy, isn't it?
Well, for some it's difficult to be tidy, although we see Wiggins there, like he is you know, just made onto the bike, and he looks, you know, so great, his position. But in a hill time trial, it's not going to be as important. The aerodynamics doesn't count as much here, where if you have a long 50-kilometre flat time trial, well, then it's very important. And if you can sit there and just power the gear like Bradley Wiggins can do, we can see here he's doing the same on the climb. But it's difficult to know how well he's going. You see guys out of the saddle, as we did see Spilak just a moment ago. You know, they're dancing out of the saddle. They can be going as fast as him, and it's just the clock will count and tell us the real truth at the end of the day.
This is Louis Westra. Look at this. This is the intermediate checkpoint, Sean, and Westra has gone through fastest.
Yes, this is going to be an interesting one now, because as we see Wiggins coming through, it will be a real important one, and if he can, you know, pull a couple of seconds out of Wiggins, well, then he will be made aware of that by his director of sportive, and that will give him a big, you know, boost, and he just can push himself that bit more and go real deep. And in time trial, you just have to, you know, go to the limit and keep it on the limit all the time.
Fastest at the finish still is Jean-Christophe Perrault, who's finished this 9.6 kilometre course in 19.46 minutes. The outright record for this sort of distance beforehand, 9.5 kilometres, held by Raymond Poulidor, set in 1972 of 20.4. So that's already gone. But the longer distance that Sean raced up, 10.2 kilometres, 19.45 seconds, so an average speed of 30.375 miles an hour. This climb has been used since 1969, well, 69 through to 1995, and then they stopped using it. Fifth fastest for Valverde at the intermediate checkpoint, so no huge surprise by Valverde, Sean, that he maybe suspected he might be able to pull something out.
No, well, against Westra there we can see he's, you know, losing time, and as we were expecting that he would be in difficulty against the two better time trials ahead of him in the general classification. That's proven to be the case now, and he's just losing to Westra. It'll be interesting to see with Wiggins now.
Second at 2 seconds. Westra is 2 seconds faster than Bradley Wiggins at the intermediate checkpoint. Perrault was the first man to break the 20 at the finish, and still is the only man. But Westra has got the fastest at the intermediate checkpoint. This is TJ Van Garderen finishing 10th fastest so far for him. Westra with a time of 11.29. And Wiggins with 11.31 at the intermediate checkpoint. Brad is going to have to really work hard now, Sean. He must be aware that Westra is going well.
Yes, he's going to be made aware of that he's a bit down on Westra, and he just have to, you know, give it everything, dig deeper once again, and it's going to be a question, is he able to do that? Is he on the limit already? Westra, of course, when you're up on, you know, the race leader and you're made aware of that, you just can push yourself so more, you can suffer so much more, and Westra, I think, you know, he's going to give it everything. But is he after starting out a little bit too fast as well? Is he doing that maybe to upset Wiggins? Who knows? I think we'll just have to wait as we go on, but it's looking good, Westra. You know, that 2 seconds, that is a big one for the morale boost for Westra out front.
This is Simon Spilak. He's doing well so far today. Spilak is the 4th fastest through the intermediate checkpoint, and Wiggins really has to dig deep now. Here comes Spilak. And a good ride by Simon Spilak, Sean. And he's going to finish just inside the 20, is he? Yes, he does indeed. 19.59 to go, second fastest so far. Well, that is very difficult now for Bradley Wiggins. How much pressure will he feel under, Sean? He will be made aware he's lost 2 seconds. And remember, the 2 steepest kilometres have come already. Is that playing into his hands? Will he feel better about that or worse about that?
Well, I think when you look at the two men in the general classification, Wiggins, of course, leader, Westra, who was really pushing for this victory in Paris-Nice this year. Both of them, the steep section, the first 2 kilometres, I don't think, you know, it will be their strongest point. Because Westra is a big guy and he's more of a flat time trialist. I think a stronger one on the flat, but he's really putting it in here. And you know, did he attack that first 2 kilometres faster than Wiggins? Was Wiggins maybe just getting into it in the earlier part? Who knows? I think we'll have to wait and see as the time go on. But it's always nervous time, because if you're in the position of Wiggins and you know your main rival is after taking 2 seconds out here at the first checkpoint, well then you know it gets you a little bit worried, depending on how you're feeling. If you're already giving it, you know, your 100%, but if you have been keeping a little bit in reserve, well then you can overcome that situation. And you know, Wiggins, he's got the experience, but again, you know, time trialing is always nervous times, and you just never know how strong, you know, the other contenders, the other ones fighting to win this Paris-Nice are going to be on the final time trial.
Remember, the bonus seconds are only for road stages here in Paris-Nice. It's a straight fight on this particular stage as Alejandro Valverde comes in. This is a good time in the end for Valverde. It's going to be outside the 20 minutes. How much is he going to lose to Splitde? 4th fastest. I don't think he's particularly under threat, Sean.
No, I think he holds on there. He's done a good time against Splitde, who put in a very good performance. He will be able to hold his position there in the general classification. Van Garden, for me, he was the one which, you know, he was down on the time of Splitde. I thought he would be better than Valverde and Splitde because of his climbing ability and his time trial ability, but maybe finishing a bit tired as we see Westra here digging, you know, real deep. He looks to be going faster, but again, depending on where you are on this time trial of cold days, if you're on a steeper section, well then where Wiggins is, I think at the moment, difficult to calculate by, you know, the by the rhythm, by the cadence they're working, but looking impressive Westra all the time, finishing, you know, really strong here.
This is Liwe Westra coming in. Look at the time, 19:04. Wow, this is super fast, Sean.
Yes, well,
look at this.
Yes, against Perrault, which was a very good time.
19:14:10. 31 seconds faster than Jean-Christophe Perrault. A little exhalation of breath there by Sean and shake of head. That is super fast by Liwe Westra. Oh, Bradley, you're up against it now, boy. Bradley Wiggins aiming to become the only other Briton outside of Tom Simpson in 1967 to win this Paris-Nice race. This vastly prestigious race toward the end of the winter period, beginning of the spring, marks the traditional, to me anyway, the European season starting. It's a fabulous race. The Dutch have had a better record here. Last man Michael Bogart in 99. You go back before that into the last kilometre for Bradley Wiggins. Remember, he had a 6-second advantage, and Liwe Westra has been riding out of his skin. He took 2 seconds out of Wiggins at the intermediate checkpoint at 5.6 kilometres. This is going to be nip and tuck, Sean.
Yes, it looks very much that's the situation, that is going to be a tight one for Wiggins here. Of course, Wiggins started 2 minutes behind Westra, so we'll have to just see, but Westra, you know, when you look at the time of Perrault, it was already a good time, and that, you know, the amount of time he took out of Perrault, who was the leader of the time trial on the leaderboard for a long time. You know, a big performance by Westra, and it'll be interesting to see as Wiggins goes through the 500 metres before the finish.
450 metres only for Bradley Wiggins to see if he can take this Paris-Nice race. He was 6 seconds in advance of Liwe Westra this morning. Look at the kinesio tape under his back there, adding that extra support to all those back muscles. Oh, it's very, very tight. Is he going to do it? I think he is. I think Bradley Wiggins has gone fast enough to take Paris-Nice. He has. He takes the stage as well. Bradley Wiggins wins the final time trial stage up cold days. And